Hello everyone, this video will be split into the two parts, where the first part will be the introduction of my new Java course, which will be a little bit more complicated but give you the deeper understanding of programming, and I do believe will be interesting to learn. And the second part will be about the static and the final keywords. So if you're interested just in the practice, you can move straight to the second part. And what about the first part? I want to say that this course consists of 3 modules with its lessons, and I've also prepared the diagram and I guide you through the roadmap in the moment. Alright, so let's look at the structure of this course. And as you can see, the first module called Java, this is more about the base features we have to understand before we move to other 2 modules. So the first module, it has 6 lessons, and we will cover the static and final keywords, 2-dimensional arrays, methods, objects. We will look again at the classes because we already touched it in the first easy course. We will look a little bit deeper what actually classes is, and we'll finish the first module with the access modifiers. So after finishing those 6 lessons, I believe you'll be prepared to move to the second module, which called object-oriented programming. And the object-oriented programming, this is a very important thing you have to understand very good to become developer and to get actually the base understanding of how modern programming works. So this section has just 4 lessons, but those lessons I believe will be a little bit bigger than the common lessons. And as the last, the third module will be the data structures, and as for me, this is the most interesting module of the whole course as for me. So that's why I left it at the last one, and we will look at the data structures. So we already looked at the array, but we will look at the other options, how we can actually hold and work with the data. By the way, for those of you who are serious about the programming and maybe thinking about the career in the tech, I can offer my 6 hours long Java Medium course, which can actually be the great impact in your future career, because I'm explaining the main modules and the main topics in the very detail, so you can look how does it work under the hood and really improve your level just in the 6 hours of the course. So if you're interested in, just look up to the description to the videos and you will find the link and actually instructions. Let's move to the practice part and talk about the static and the final keywords. And let's look at the final first. So what is final? The final, this is a reserved keyword which we declare our variables with, and it actually make the constants from our simple variables. That means that the variable can be assigned only once and can't be reassigned. So to show you on the practice, let's just refresh our memory and remind how do we declare, for example, integer. So we have to give it data type int, then we given it name, so number, and then we can use our semicolon and leave our variable undefined for the moment, or we can assign it with the equal symbol immediately. So let's just assign it immediately with for example 5, and this is the actually variable which can be reassigned many times, so we can make number equals or plus equals 5, and our number now should be 10, and then we can make it, for example, number minus equal 1, and now it should be actually 9, and let's make just number plus plus and make it 10 again. So let's just print it to check if our calculations are correct. And you can see that result is 10, and this is a correct calculation. So our number was reassigned 3 times. And what if we declare another variable which should have only constant value? So it means that the variable shouldn't be reassigned. So we can achieve this doing final int and number 2. So actually the same declaration as the simple variable, but we are adding on the beginning the final keyword. And the final variable can be also undefined, it's totally fine, but it should be assigned only once. So we can assign it with the value of 10, and from now this variable can't be changed anymore. So if we do number 2 equals number plus 1, you can see that we cannot assign a value to final variable, and the suggestion to make number 2 not final. So the final keyword indicates that the variable will be constant, so the value of this variable won't be changed anymore. We can of course use it for the strings, and let's make it Martin, and it's the same issue that we can use it with the actually any data type. So the final, it's about the constant value of the variable, so defined only once and never reassigned. And let's move to the discussion of the static keyword. And first I want to say that I wasn't sure that I have to include the static right now, because the static is a bit bigger topic to discuss and to think about, but I want to show you just to make it clear what in the general, what does it mean something to be static. So as you can see, we have here, for example, the public static void main and some string array name and curly braces, and this is the method which we will talk in the future lessons. But for now, let's just make it a little bit closer to understanding what's going on here, for example. So before I explain how the static actually works, we have to know one thing, that our code are written between the curly braces all the time. So we have the class name, there's some modifier, and the curly braces, and the space between those two curly braces called the global scope. And this is the method, as I told before, and the method, as you can see, has its own curly braces. And what is going on in the method, it's actually not it's actually invisible for the global scopes, so we can't from the global scopes access some variables declared or some operations declared between the curly braces of the method or from of another class. So we can access just the variables declared in the global scopes. So we can make something like, we can declare, for example, here the integer number 3 and assign it with, let's say, 15. And now we actually can't use this variable between the curly braces of our main method. We have already wrote some logic, so we can just try to access it with, for example, printing the value of number 3. And you can see that the number 3 is red, which means that our method, so what's going on between these open and closing curly braces, just can't find the number 3. So it looks here and it sees just the number and the number 2. We will see the same if we do number 4, number 5, number 6, and so on. But in this case, number 3 already exists, but it exists in the global scope. So how we can make this variable visible to other parts of the program? So to make this number 3 visible, we just have to add the static keyword in the beginning, and you can see that our number now is visible between the curly braces of the method. It maybe looks a little bit confused now, but don't worry, it's okay. We will talk about this later after we will finish our OOP model, and I will actually explain the cons and pros of using the static. But for now, just to know that the static makes our global scope variables visible during the whole program. Why am I actually telling that the static is used to make the variable visible from the global scope? Because we can't use it actually between the curly braces of the method. So if you will try to declare here some static int number 4, you will see that the modifier static not allowed here. So the static, it's the keyword to be used during the very top level of our class, so between the curly braces of the class. And the same way we can actually use the final, so we can make our static final int number 3, 15, and this way our number 3 now became the constant. It's visible from the global scopes, but it's the constant because of final and it can't be modified. And this is it for this lesson. So if you like this video, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.